You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Hey guys, welcome back to the Digest This podcast. I'm your host, Bethany Cameron, and today we are talking about non-nutritive sweeteners, and this has been a long time coming. I get asked all the time on my Instagram, what kind of sweetener do I use? What zero-calorie sweetener do I prefer? X, Y, and Z. So we're going to dive into it, and let's just go for it. There's a lot of controversy about electrolytes these days, and many are wondering what's really in them. Brands can sometimes not be transparent and hide ingredients not required to be disclosed to the public. However, I will say that the electrolytes I've been taking for over 3 years are the best I've found. There's no stevia, no monk fruit, no natural flavors, and no maltodextrin. Just 3 simple ingredients: salt, magnesium, and potassium. The brand I've been consuming is Element, specifically their raw, unflavored version. This version only is free from many of the hidden ingredients you will commonly find in electrolyte mixes. And because Element's raw, unflavored packets do not contain natural flavors or sweeteners of any kind, I sometimes like to add a squeeze of lemon or a squeeze of orange into my water, or they're even great blended into my fruit smoothies for a sweet and salty treat. I've tried several brands on the market and wasted a lot of my own money on promising packs, only to get disappointed that either the taste was off or they didn't deliver the hydration I needed. That's why after 3 years, I have always reverted back to Element's raw, unflavored electrolytes. My husband loves their lemonade, citrus salt, and grapefruit salt, and he's recently become a fan of their mango chili flavor. Imagine sprinkling that on top of watermelon, you guys. But you all know me and that I'm a plain Jane kind of gal that prefers no sweeteners, no maltodextrin, no aftertaste, and no flavorings. So whatever your preference, I know Element has got what you're looking for. If you go to drinkelement.com/digest, you will get a free sample pack to try. And if you don't like what you purchase, they will give you your money back with no questions asked. And you can even keep what you bought. Go to drinklmnt.com/digest or click the link in today's show notes. So today we are talking all about non-nutritive sweeteners. And if you don't know what non-nutritive sweeteners are, they are simply any sweetener that is 0 calories, whether that being artificial sweeteners such as aspartame or Splenda, or quote, natural sweeteners like stevia. Any sugar substitute or 0 calorie sweeteners fall under the definition of a non-nutritive sweetener. So I want to do a little comparison first. So the definitions between nutritive sweeteners such as honey or even just raw cane sugar, and then the comparison between non-nutritive sweeteners like the 0 calorie ones. So nutritive sweeteners contain nutrition. I mean, at least some of it, right? So nutritive sweeteners contain carbohydrates and provide energy. They often are added, obviously, calories, so they do have some caloric components to them. Now, also, sugars could be naturally found in fruits and even some vegetables. And the names of sugar commonly found in food includes glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, maltodextrin, dextrose, lactose, corn-based sweeteners like obviously corn syrup, honey, molasses, agave, and fruit juice concentrates. Those are just a few names for sugar. And if you go to my Instagram, I actually have a post there, and it has like 60, 70 different names for sugar. It's posted on there. Definitely go back and save it to reference too. Speaking of non-nutritive sweeteners, NNS, they don't have any calories, and you only need a small amount because they are like 50 times, 100 times sweeter than actual sugar. They can be referred to as also like artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, low calorie sweeteners, high intensity sweeteners, that's another one, or non-caloric sweeteners. And they have no nutritional value, hence the name non-nutritive sweeteners. Now, it's also interesting, and I want to note that several non-nutritive sweeteners like acetylflame, potassium, aspartame, stevia, sucralose, etc., they are all approved by the US Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. So they're approved whether they are artificial or whether they are, quote, natural. Now, if you do use non-nutritive sweeteners, keep on listening because you don't want to miss this. So, increased incidence of obesity and diabetes make non-nutritive sweeteners and their low caloric value even more favorable for the diet and even diet supplement products that you consume. Different food manufacturers, they really, really love it because then obviously they can claim their product is lower calorie, lower sugar, etc. It is generally accepted that a high sugar diet contributes to metabolic disorders. However, study after study confirms that non-nutritive sweeteners are actually not any better or healthier than sugar and hold their own separate health risks. Researchers are challenging the long-held belief that non-nutritive sugar substitutes have no impact on humans. They discovered that some sweeteners could modify consumers' microbiomes, affecting blood sugar levels. And in an expert opinion on a human study looking at how glycemic levels and human microbiomes are affected by non-nutritive sweeteners, Dr. Sarah Berry, who is the senior lecturer at King's College London, explains, and I quote, "This study contributes to our current knowledge by providing evidence in humans at realistic intake doses that sweetener consumption impacts the microbiome consumption and function, which has previously only been well studied in animal models," end quote. In addition, the same study she was referring to also confirms what has been previously shown in mice about the impact of sweeteners on the microbiome and adds to the body of evidence that some sweeteners have an unfavorable effect on blood glucose control. And get this, you guys, the FDA doesn't consider sugar alcohols to be food additives. So this means that if a label says, quote, "no additives," this doesn't necessarily mean that sugar alcohols are not in there. Government health agencies oversee ingredients that product makers add to food. These agencies check ingredients such as sugar substitutes before foods or drinks that contain them can go on sale. This is the same government that allows aspartame, Splenda, acetylflame potassium, and all those other artificial sweeteners on the market to be legal in our foods. So, what confidence do we really have in them making other approvals for so-called healthy sweetener alternatives? All right, you guys, I know omega-3s are something almost every person wants to improve their health and take on the daily. But if you haven't heard, most omega-3 fish oil supplements are rancid because they oxidize prior to even making it to the grocery store shelves or that online store you purchase them from. I actually stopped taking omega-3 fish oil a year ago when I found out its dirty little secret, and I switched to fatty 15, which never oxidizes, providing the benefits of omega-3s plus additional perks fish oil doesn't even provide, including aiding in cellular fragility syndrome, which 1 in 3 Americans have today and not even know it. I've talked about Fatty 15 forever on my Instagram, and if you're one of the millions that's already familiar with it but have yet to pull the trigger and try it, Now's your chance because Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. Right now, you can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/digest and using code DIGEST at checkout. This tiny capsule is also vegan with no fishy burp smell. And if you're not completely satisfied, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it totally risk-free. Go to fatty15.com/digest to get this amazing offer. I hope you enjoy it just as much as my husband and I do. Now, stevia in particular has been clinically shown to be an endocrine disruptor. Again, I have an entire reel on this topic on my Instagram. You should definitely check that out. And stevia also disrupts the microbiome and good bacteria, as well as cause bloating, headaches, and even weight gain, since it alters your taste buds and makes you crave more sweets and actually need things to be sweeter. Now, this goes for all zero-calorie sweeteners because your body is not actually getting any calories or nutritional value from the non-nutritive sweetener. It's never fully satisfied and will continue to crave more sugar until it finally gets the real thing. This doesn't mean you have to feed your body pure refined sugar, but even giving your body some fresh fruit or a little raw honey will curb those cravings and give your body what it thought it was ingesting when you first gave it a zero-calorie sweetener. Think of fat. People who eat healthy fats stay satiated for longer periods of time and are fully satiated after a meal. However, those who eat a fat-free diet typically crave more food because of the lack of satiating fat in their diet. This results in overeating because they aren't fully satisfied. That example is similar to what sugar-free sweeteners do to your body and brain. So I always opt to give my brain some healthy, unrefined sugar such as raw honey, coconut sugar, and my favorite, fresh fruit. I still watch my sugar and carb intake because many, including myself, are easily susceptible to yeast overgrowth, which is another reason I lean more towards a lower carb diet. Not everyone needs to follow this protocol, but even so, with what I do for my body, I still give my body and brain healthy sugars in moderation rather than filling it with non-nutritive sweeteners. Plus, as mentioned, those zero-calorie sweeteners contain sugar alcohols, which cause bloating, cramps, headaches, and let's just be honest, they all have a horrible aftertaste, whether it's monk fruit, stevia, or aspartame. The taste is just, when you're tasting something artificial or zero calories, if you know what I mean. Now think about this. The less processed foods we consume, the less process our bodies have to do to break it down and filter out the junk. Your body is already working hard to combat the environmental pollution and stress of life. Help it along and don't give it more stress by consuming foods that will ultimately add more stress to the body. Give it nourishment. I hope you all enjoyed this bite of knowledge, and if you did, please send this episode to 2 of your friends so they can better their health and be in the know. See you guys on Wednesday for a really special interview. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.